Mia, 2 years we've had in Melbourne of weekly rallies, pro-Palestinian protests, sometimes more than one a week. They say now they will pause. Now, that's the word that worries me here, pause, not stop or cancel or not do it anymore, following the ceasefire. What the hell are they out there protesting about when we're in the early days of a ceasefire?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those issues where, like, I will believe it where I see it. I'm from Melbourne and we are sick to death of these relentless protests over and over again. At the end of the day, these protesters, they're activists. They're there to cause disruption. So, no, I don't think they'll rest, because at the end of the day, they're not advocating for peace in the Middle East. They are calling for the destruction of Israel. And until that happens, I don't think we'll hear the end of it. And I think what Victorians are especially disappointed in is a lack of leadership from the Victorian government in calling an end to these protests. At the end of the day, protests that bully, intimidate or harass the general public are no longer a genuine exercise in free speech. They have gone too far. And time again, we've seen the Victorian government shut down protests on issues that they don't want to talk about. Over again, we've seen it during the anti-lockdown protests. We saw it recently with migration protests. They didn't want to talk about it, so they shut those down. But they've shown no leadership shutting down these protesters.
Joe, in New South Wales, of course, you've had that court decision this week in regard to pro-Palestine protests or protests of any kind, being able to protest outside places of worship. I mean, that was a very unusual court decision, to be polite.
Yeah, and not the first time the courts have, in my humble opinion, got it wrong. I think that New South Wales generally has a pretty good system where you need a permit to protest. The protest organisers and the police work out where the best route is so the protesters can get their message heard, and that's fair enough. That's what we want in a free society. But that doesn't actually intimidate people who have their own freedoms, who want to be able to freely express and partake in their religion. The decision to allow the protest to go over the Harbour Bridge was the wrong one, and proved to be the wrong one when police had to turn it around for public safety reasons. And they were denied the opportunity to protest at the Opera House for the same reason. And this time the courts got it right. So these protesters, frankly, are just balmy. I mean, what are they protesting against now? Peace? They're protesting against the ceasefire. They're protesting against Hamas laying down its weapons, or the return of the hostages, or the return of Palestinian prisoners. I mean, they don't even know what they're protesting against. They just want to protest, and there'll be another cause tomorrow that they'll pick up and want to jump up and down about.
Joe, of the three of us, you know Anthony Albanese best. He's going to meet Donald Trump next week. I've tried to work out exactly what time that meeting will take place. Best I can work out is somewhere around 2 or 3 a.m. on Tuesday morning. Genuine question, how nervous would he be?
Look, not too nervous. To be honest, these meetings are usually very choreographed, and they're not organised until you know what each party is going to say and what the outcome is. Tell
Vladimir Zelensky that.
And I was going to say the shining exception to that rule, or the exception that proves the rule, is Vladimir Zelensky. And you'll note that blow up in the White House Oval Office was very quickly remedied. So, shortly after that, they met again in France and were very cordial, and they've since resumed their amicable relationship. And Trump has been more hard on Putin and more sympathetic to the Ukrainian cause, and we'll probably see some movement on that soon. So Zelensky and Albanese are two very different people. Albo is extremely pragmatic. He's been a deal maker his whole life. We've already seen the government saying that it's going to boost defence spending that's a sort of nod to Trump's demands that we increase overall defence spending as a proportion of GDP.
We'll see how it goes.
There'll be more of that.
We'll see how it goes. I've got great faith in your man, Albo. Mia and Joe, thank you very much for joining us.